Good morning, and welcome to the weekly platform service of Tri-County Unitarian Universalists, based in Summerfield, Florida. We acknowledge that we occupy the ancestral, traditional, and contemporary lands of the indigenous Florida peoples. I am Nancy Garrison, today's service leader. Hello to our members and friends, and a special welcome to those who might be visiting here for the first time. Unitarian Universalists are united not by a creed of shared beliefs, but by a covenant of shared values. We celebrate that we do not need to think alike to love alike. It is our respect and encouragement of each other's diversity of thought that truly binds us together. For the curious and for the seekers, Unitarian Universalist values and covenant may be found on your order of service and at our website, triuu.org. Our newsletter, included in the timetable, can also be found there under News and Events. We have announcements, but first, please mute your phone or place it in airplane mode. Thank you. Following today's service at 10:30 to 11:30, there will be a class on developing the skills and motivation to advocate for UU values during this year's Florida State Legislative Session. Improve your understanding about redistricting and learn how to find out who your state representative and senator are. Meet at the right side of the front of the auditorium, over there. Walkers are important to represent Tri-UU in the Ocala MLK March tomorrow, Monday the 19th. Gather at 8:30 near the downtown square. See Joyce Mills for questions. She's back there. Are you curious about Unitarian Universalism or interested in learning more about Tri-County Unitarian Universalists? Join the Reverend Kristina and Helene Kirschbaum for our New to UU class next Saturday, January 24th from 10 to 12:30. We'll explore the values and beliefs of Unitarian Universalism and introduce you to our local congregation. To sign up for the class, please add your name to the list in the corner of the room, back there by the shelves. The annual rummage sale is quickly approaching. We will be accepting donations from Monday, February 2nd through Wednesday, February 4th. Sale days are Thursday through Saturday of that same week. In addition to being a fundraiser, the sale is also an opportunity for us to get to know each other as we work for a common goal. More information and a sign-up sheet are available on the back table behind AV. And one more from Ken Pond. If anyone would like early beta access to the admin back end of the Tri-UU website, this is a new website that he's been putting together for us, and it's awesome. Please send an email with your name and your email address to kenpond@gmail.com. The back end will serve as our organization's intranet, managing the front end of the website as well as inter-organizational communication tasks and functions. You can expect an invitation to access the back end within the next week. This concludes our announcements. And as we now begin the service proper, we will recite our mission statement. Please join with your voice as we recite together. We unite in religious community to seek spiritual growth, live with integrity, and serve with compassion. Our chalice keeper today is Eileen McCabe. We invite those of you joining us on Zoom to light your chalice at home.
You cannot hope to build a better world without improving the individuals. To that end, each of us must work for his or her own improvement, and at the same time share a general responsibility for all humanity. Our particular duty being to aid those to whom we can be most useful. Madam Curie.
The choir is going to lead us in Lift Every Voice and sing. If you would please join them and rise and lift your voice in song as well. The words will be on the screens. Our opening words this morning come with a preface. It is written by the Reverend Dr. Michael Tino on the lead ministry team of the Church of the Larger Fellowship. They write, "Beloveds, I've been wondering what my final 2025 message to you would be, what I could write that would address the pain, grief, and suffering in our midst and still leave us with the hope for a new year. I was wondering what I could possibly wish for you, my beloveds, on the cusp of 2026. And then I got a letter from Iowa. In the Newton Correctional Facility, there exists a group of some 28 Unitarian Universalists, all members of the CLF, who have formed their own congregation. They call it the Newton UU Fellowship because they don't want the name of their group to reference incarceration, and they meet regularly supported by both the CLF and our siblings in the Coralville, Iowa congregation. Bridget Laughlin, a religious educator and candidate for UU ministry, has been approved as a volunteer to come monthly and lead worship. These beloveds are thriving in their faith despite barrier after barrier being put in their way. Their leaders have been transferred to other facilities and put in solitary. Their rituals are routinely questioned and often blocked by the prison. We're actively helping them claim their rights to religious freedom and expression. Despite all this, the group's understanding of the life-giving power of Unitarian Universalist values keeps them going. As Christopher King, their secretary, writes, as you might expect, justice, equity, transformation, pluralism, interdependence, and generosity can be hard to find in this environment. What might surprise you, though, is the abundance of those qualities and the desire to embrace them that can be found here as well. Each week, the group recites a message of welcome in which they commit themselves to living our Unitarian Universalist values. They've given permission for me to share it with you, and it is below. And so, beloveds, this is what I wish for you in 2026, that wherever you are, you find some bit of fertile ground in which to plant the seeds of our faith. However hard things are or might get, may you be reminded that you are intended to be, to borrow a phrase from the UU Newton Fellowship, a masterpiece of nature. And may you all find and make some space for someone else's masterpiece nature to shine this year. Yours in faith, Reverend Michael. That message of welcome from the Newton UU Fellowship reads, we gather as one community with many beliefs, following many paths, all with unknown destinations. As one, we seek to be treated fairly. Justice is possible only with love for one another. The heart in your chest pulses with life, as does mine. Equity in our humanity is the design of nature. Each step we take on our journey allows us to explore who we are. Transformation stops only when we refuse to advance. As believers in a multitude of thought, we embrace the challenges of acceptance. Pluralism is celebrated through respect for individuality. Through recognition of the effects of our actions, we govern our words and deeds. Interdependence allows strength in numbers with caution toward selfishness. In the spirit of unity, we vow to give as much as we receive. Generosity is measured in thought, attention, gift, and assistance. Every soul who seeks our community will be given the opportunity to become the masterpiece that nature intended. With this vow, we open our hearts to the love of one another in this place. Come, let us worship together. If you would please rise and lift your voice in song with me for our opening hymn, Circle Round for Freedom. Whew. Our story this morning is Abolition is Love, written and illustrated by Cyrus Marcus Ware and Alana Fricker. Today is August 10th, Prisoners' Justice Day. We are getting ready for the rally, painting signs and working on banners. I'm learning about abolition. Papa says abolition is love. It's a way of dreaming about the future and making sure that we all get to be free. Daddy says abolition means getting rid of prisons and police and systems that hurt our people like racism and ableism. They both say that abolition is how we are going to get free and what we will do together when we are free. Abolition is like planting a bunch of seeds and watering them to make sure they grow. Abolition means love and care and taking care of each other, even when we make mistakes. I'm helping Papa make an accessible park in our community. Making safe spaces for us all to gather is part of abolition. He says that when we make sure that we are all planned for, we are all anticipated. That is abolition. Sometimes abolition means learning to work through conflict. My Auntie Jessica came to visit and brought my annoying cousin Curtis with her. We got into a big fight when he spilled my prized collection of rainbow loom bracelets all over the floor. Auntie Jessica came and told us we need to solve our conflict together in love. She asked if what happened was a big problem or a little problem. We had to sit down together at the craft table and draw a chart of problems. Big problems were big bars colored in red and were big things that were hard or scary or dangerous. We drew different sized problems from big down to tiny. Okay, now, was knocking over the bracelets the biggest problem ever? Was it a medium-sized problem or a little problem? From the other room, Papa chimed in, I know. Shush, Auntie Jessica said, waiting for us to think about it ourselves. Maybe a medium problem because I really like those bracelets, but maybe a little problem because none of them were hurt, I offered. Under his breath, Curtis says, seems like a tiny problem to me. We both smiled. Auntie Jessica smiled too. Auntie Jessica helped us make a plan to share our toys and the room. Feeling heard and having our needs met is abolition, and abolition is love. On Sunday, my daddy took me to visit Uncle Mark at the jail. We had to take 3 buses, and I packed some of my drawings in my backpack to show him. When we got there, we had to be sniffed down by a scary dog. I love seeing Uncle Mark, but I hate going to the jail. Daddy says in the future we won't ever have to visit anyone in prison because we will all be free. He says we will respond to conflict, crisis, and harm in better ways. There will be no prisons in the future, Daddy says. Sometimes abolition looks like sharing. My friend Miata's mom lost her job and they might lose their home too. We are working together as a community to keep the rent paid and to keep them housed until she can find more work. Miata's mom says this is a part of abolition too, making sure that we all make it. At Freedom School, we are learning about Black August, which was started by prisoners and is a time to learn about Black justice and liberation and history. My teacher says that this is abolition, carrying on the traditions of prisoners and making sure that we each one teach one. The Black Panthers had the idea that when you know something, you have the responsibility to pass that knowledge on, to keep it going. I get to hold my own candle at Prisoners' Justice Day this year. Papa and Daddy say I'm old enough. Tonight we will read the names of people who have been hurt by prisons, and we promise to meet every year until all prisoners are free. In the meantime, we work together to water the seeds of abolition. We plant gardens and build community centers. We create housing and programs that support communities, and we turn to each other when problems happen and work through them together. We will help each other to get free along the way to abolition, because abolition is love. In the future, we will all be free. Now, as we move deeper into our service, let us turn inward to consider transitions, the joys, sorrows, and concerns that we all experience in our life's journeys. There are 3 bowls of stones of different colors representing the gratitude of joy, the grief of sorrow, and whatever feeling you're having related to concerns. After those present have placed stones in the water, our ushers will place stones from each of the bowls in the water on behalf of those who are not present with us in the building and those who have chosen not to or who are unable to come forward. Those online are invited to type into the chat to express what is on your heart. When all the stones have been mingled in the water, we will take a moment for silent meditation or prayer. You may now come forward. We will take a moment now to reflect on our own joys, concerns, and sorrows, and those of others in this beloved community. After the moment passes, the sound of the chimes will bring us back into this space, and we will sing our response this month, Voice Still and Small.
Our sharing of abundance speaker today is Peg Tackett.
Good morning. Can everybody hear me? I was asked to say a few words today about why I pledged to try UU. I worked for more than 40 years for the Navy providing member and family support services. In our job, we often use the term and the principles of force multiplier in budgeting, planning, strategizing, and nearly all the processes of our work. It's defined as a factor, a tool, a strategy that significantly amplifies capabilities, effectiveness, and impacts to achieve a far greater result with the same resources. Our pledges to try UU are the force multiplier here. They ensure we have a worship place with space, utilities, rooms, communication systems, furnishings, and all else needed for the congregation. We get to use our place to worship in, to socialize, to educate, to have fun, to do our part in social justice efforts, to support one another. And we're able to enjoy and benefit from a like-minded community with shared principles for living to help our own and others in need. We agree when we join Try UU to pledge financial support as we are able. Doing so as a congregation pulls together our resources as a force multiplier. It ensures the resources of the whole of us create something more valuable, more effective, more powerful than any one of us could do alone. It's the very definition of synergy. The collective contributions to Try UU result in outcomes that exponentially magnify the effect on our lives, in others' lives, and in every aspect of our community. Pledging, financially supporting as you are able, makes it all happen. Think of the enormity of the bang for our buck in this congregation. Please pledge as generously as you can.
And now we will have a few words from our stewardship team.
Thank you, Peg. You really nailed it. You kind of took about all my words that I was going to say, but that's good because they'll get to hear them again. Okay, we are well on our way to keeping Sanity Island afloat for 2026-27. Remember last week we just put the first part of our rainbow out just kind of to get us going, not very big, but look, nothing but smiles this week. 1, 2, 3, 4, you, yes. Drum roll, please. Oh, you guys are great. This week, already, week 1, we are 36% to our goal of $190,000 with $67,855. And good job. A little reminder, which Peg already alluded to, the pledge team is not asking you to pledge. No, we are reminding you of the promise you made when you joined Try-UU that you would pledge. And there's a 2-part deal to this pledging. You pledge on paper, you pay the pledge. Thank you, yes, truly. And this year and last year, thanks to Myra, we get to pledge online. You can go to tryuu.org and it's under the donations tab. So great job, and let's keep it going for Sanity Island and Try-UU.
Amazing. We will now receive our offering. If you are visiting us for the first time, please do not feel obligated to give. You are our guest, and we are happy to have you here with us today. This is a time in our service when those who wish to make some monetary contribution to our congregation's vision and mission give to support this community and its outreach. If you are putting cash in the basket that you want credited to your pledge, please put the cash in a manila envelope. I invite the ushers to come forward.
Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. We are caught in an inescapable network of mutuality, tied in a single garment of destiny. Whatever affects one directly affects all indirectly, wrote the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. in his famous letter from a Birmingham jail. He wrote the letter in response to being referred to as an outside agitator, as if he were what we now call a paid agitator. He argues that, in short, there is no such thing, that we are all in this together. King never took on prison abolition as a cause, but given his increasingly radical views at the time of his early death, we might expect that had he been able to live to see the time when the so-called war on drugs began, and with it, the beginning of what we now call mass incarceration, that he would have. Still, to me, a part of honoring King's legacy is assessing how we have fallen short of achieving his vision, and maybe how far we haven't even gotten toward that end, as well as taking up the mantle of dreaming as he might have. And this is how I came to be engaging the idea of prison abolition today. At our last Unitarian Universalist General Assembly, a national and international gathering of Unitarian Universalists who learn and worship together, as well as do the work of the Unitarian Universalist Association, our national body, the delegates voted on a number of matters. This included the renewal of our Congregational Study Action Issue, CSAI, a process individuals and congregations are invited to participate in. There's learning to be done, but also an expectation that some activity about the issue will take place. The 2025 CSAI was the Church of the Larger Fellowship's proposal of abolition, transformation, and faith formation. The CLF serves people across the country and the globe. Here in the United States, almost 2,000 of their members are incarcerated. As part of the CSAI proposal, the CLF staff have created a study guide with questions and resources that can be used as a starting point. I want to be clear that no one at the CLF, or likely anywhere else in the United States or the world, believes that prison abolition will happen anytime soon. Nor is it simply releasing prisoners out into the world. It is a process we are being challenged to consider to make this world better and more just for all of us. I have far more to say than even I am willing to try to cover in this service, so I'm going to stick to a few points today. 2 are theological and the other personal. The theological elements are rich and have many components. I want to start with a thread that has been woven throughout this year so far, that of othering. Wanting to separate ourselves from others, learning to differentiate between mine or ours, or who is them or theirs, can be helpful at various developmental stages. We want to know who our family is, for example, because they are supposed to be the people we can trust to care for us. This certainly isn't always the case, but it's a common narrative that we have. But othering can also be deeply problematic. It can cause harm at every level of society. It can prevent us from learning about each other, learning how to be in relationship across difference. It can foster a sense of superiority or inferiority among the us's and the them's. And one of the consequences of this is that it allows us to dehumanize one another. We've witnessed throughout history extremes of what this can mean, including genocides, as well as enslavement, caste systems, institutionalizations of various kinds, and here in the United States, I would add mass incarceration. None of these systems is possible without dehumanization. The idea that some are not or are less human than others. Dehumanizing one another takes place by individuals, as was the case with the ICE agent who shot and killed Renee Nicole Good a week and a half ago, as well as groups, organizations, and systems, as we've seen by the creation of ICE and witnessed their charge to arrest and even kidnap people off the streets for caging and deportation. As we have learned again and again in history, what happens to any of us can happen to any and all of us. When we allow people to be treated badly, beaten, starved, tortured, especially when that treatment is on behalf of the state, which I will remind us means that it is done in our names, we have no control over where that boundary will move to of who may become the them. Somewhat related but also separate is another theological factor, punishment. Our dominant culture, that is whiteness, has a legacy of punishing one another as a means of control. It holds in it the idea of correction as well, as if in punishing we balance out the harm that has been caused, as if in punishing we can get people to pay for what they have done, as if punishing someone can ever make us whole again. As my colleague, the Reverend Jason Lydon, pointed out in one of the 2024 men's lectures on abolition, punishment is not salvific. It does not have the power to redeem or heal. He continues saying, punishment during life is not only ineffective, but also it denies the potential of a transformative love offered either by God or by society. Punishment is not redemptive, and it cannot save us. As far as I am concerned, this is one of the great problems with the idea of substitutionary atonement, the idea that Jesus' death on the cross saved us all from any and all sin for all time. Punishment does not save us and cannot heal us. Have you ever been healed by punishing yourself into something? A smaller size? More muscles, higher IQ, lighter skin, my case perhaps darker skin, more extroverted, out of a depression, not being as much. So why do we expect it to work on anyone else? People who study nonviolence and trauma and other similar fields tell us that hurt people, and the opposite, that healed people heal people. The idea that punishment will solve our problems feeds into the creation of more hurt people. Punishment of any kind is violence, and violence is a difficult cycle to break. We Unitarian Universalists who are theistic believe in a loving God. It is a cornerstone of our faith. We believe, as you use, that we come from one source, which is love, and that when we die, we return to that love. Believing this, how do we justify that anything less than love will save us in this life? And by us, I mean everyone. Apart from our UU belief in the inherent worth and dignity of all people, our faith has, as another cornerstone, believed in the human potential for goodness. Not that we will all always act as our best selves. I know we don't. I don't expect anybody else to. But that we all have the potential to be better than we are today or than we were yesterday. Punishment limits our ability to live into that potential. Taking a turn to the personal for a moment, as a young person, I am not going to recount my sins for the internet, but I did not always act well. I occasionally did things that were violent and temperamental. Once I received a technical foul in a basketball game for poor sportsmanship, when I disagreed with a ref's call. It was not a good act. Looking back, though, I can see that there are things that I did that would have, in other circumstances, gotten me suspended or worse from school, or might have had other consequences. Like if I were a Black child today, I'm not sure I would have been treated as well as I was, or given the chance to do and be better. In what might have been a cutting-edge approach at the time, when I was still in elementary school, I had been violent and had participated in the closest thing envisioned at that time to a restorative justice circle to bring me back into community, along with the person whose poor behavior had preceded my poor reaction. This was before zero tolerance policies and the school to prison pipeline, fortunately for me. It didn't heal the relationships that were harmed exactly, but it did restore some equilibrium and helped me have a better grasp on understanding the consequences of my actions and taking responsibility for them. I had a long way to go before fully understanding this, but was given the space and the tools to begin to learn what to do to be better that I know are not made available to all children and youth and even adults who need them today. Abolition does seek for an end to the prison industrial complex. People who are imprisoned are traumatized by the experience. I'm not sure that there are any exceptions to that statement. Those who are eventually released to return to society do so not only with limited rights, blatantly and systemically discriminated against in voting, employment, housing, education, public benefits, and jury service, but also some combination of deep personal, interpersonal, and systemic trauma, but not the tools and support necessary to overcome them. That being said, while I do want prison abolition, I am also kind of grateful that we aren't there yet. The current presidential administration and all those who are causing harm need to be held accountable, and we are way too far away from being able to do that in any other way. Now, I want to name a few things that don't seem related to prison abolition, but are. First, the militarization of police forces and other enforcement agencies like ICE. This prepares physically and mentally the people in these roles to be at war with an enemy. That enemy is the people, brown people, Black people, and anyone else who even appears to interfere. Those who are meant to serve and protect have instead become a paramilitary force. Militarization visibly others us into us's and them's. Second, yes, the current administration has launched a war against Venezuela, and I'm not sure, I haven't been paying much attention the last 2 days, so who knows the rest of the world, I'm not sure. But it has also launched a war against Minnesota. Apart from the physical violence we're seeing, federal government agencies are imposing economic sanctions as well for Medicaid, agriculture, assistance for needy families, and some social services. This, as ICE agents swarm Minneapolis. A colleague there shared earlier this week that there were 5 times as many ICE agents in the city as police, 3,000 versus 600 already. This is related to the next point. Third, Michelle Alexander wrote in her new introduction to the new Jim Crow, published for the book's 10th anniversary in 2020, that mass incarceration was transitioning in 2 primary ways. One, releasing some people who have been incarcerated into the world via ankle monitors and other surveillance tools that allows them to look like they're part of the world, but physically and mentally keeps them locked up. And 2, moving to caging citizens from caging citizens to caging immigrants, sometimes citizens. And now we've also seen this with the indigenous peoples of the Oglala tribes of Minneapolis, people who have been kidnapped off the streets and violently removed from their communities, sometimes in front of their families, to be held and deported without due process. And last, although my hot takes and prophetic witness on what is happening are interesting, helpful, and necessary, we cannot simply be talking about what we resist. As abolition teaches, this is only half the work at best. The other half is in building. Destruction, in many ways like violence done to those incarcerated, leaves only ruins. The greatest strategy for undoing the harm and terror of this world is in creating strong, vibrant communities that offer a different vision of what is possible. It's what Minneapolisans are doing now. They are patrolling, whistling, rejecting ICE, providing spaces of respite and comfort, taking care of each other's children and youth, and doing the work of protecting their communities while also making real the kind of world we dream of. We will never overcome the oppressions that keep us all confined in our potential, the systems that we perpetuate to keep us from one another in the false hopes of saving ourselves, the violence we support by misguided belief that someone must always pay, the authoritarianism that we're seeing take over our democratic republic if we do not make alternative lives and communities that work differently, better, and more justly for all of us. It will only be when we witness and acknowledge and hold one another accountable for the harms and injustices of society and seek to undo them with each moment, each life, each generation that we can begin to bring to fruition the wildest imaginations of our dreams. Our work is to continue planting seeds as we also tend the plants bearing fruit and making changes one space, one act, one utterance at a time. Together is the only way we can save each other and ourselves, that we can all be free. This is what it means when we say our faith is centered on a liberating love. King often said that the arc of the moral universe is long, but it bends toward justice. And Obama added the caveat that the arc does not bend of its own accord, but because we do the work of bending it. These words were adapted from our own Unitarian ancestor, the Reverend Theodore Parker, from 100 years prior. So our heritage calls us to remember the work is not ours alone, and this is our work to do. Please rise and lift your voice in song with me for our closing hymn, We'll Build the Land.
Dissolves all
Eileen McCabe will now read our chalice extinguishing message.
When all is said and done, I want to die exhausted and empty because I gave everything that was in me. I believe that's why we are all here, to give of ourselves to one another, to help create a better world, because you can't take it with you. Lamont Rucker.
I invite anyone who has just begun to visit with us and who wishes to do so to introduce themselves. Please raise your hand and an usher will bring a microphone to you. Please keep the microphone close to your mouth so we can hear you better. There's one over there. Alice. One.
Hi, good morning. I'm Alice, and this is my husband, Jerry, and we're excited to be visiting you this morning. So thank you very much.
Welcome.
Is this working? I don't want to introduce myself, but I will. I'm Mary. You probably see me come and go for a few months. What
Yep, yellow.
I actually, okay, Mary. What I actually wanted to say is, as I was going out the door to come here this morning, I saw my housemate sitting in a chair watching TV crying. And I asked her what was wrong. And she said that she works at Publix part-time in the Villages. She works with the mother-in-law of Renee Good. I believe she said her name is Joy. Publix is threatening them, the employees, telling them they cannot talk about it, they cannot comfort her, they cannot fundraise for her. They have to act like nothing happened and leave her completely alone.
Oh.
I don't know about you, but I have a little message for Publix.
Thank you, Mary. Anyone else? No? If you would like to receive regular communications on upcoming Tri-UU events, please take and fill out a guest card, which will be available at the door after the service. And again, next Saturday, January 24th, there'll be a class for those wanting to know more about Tri-UU. Please sign up at the table in the back of the room. If you can't or don't want to wait until then to ask your questions, see Andrea at the table after the service. We are interested to hear how you experienced this hybrid worship service and or what you took away from the sermon. For those who are on Zoom, you may raise your hand or to speak or type your comment in the chat box. For those here in the gathering space, please raise your hand. If there is time, Reverend Kristina and I will call on you. We just have a little bit of time today. Please share your name and keep the microphone close to your mouth so we can hear you better. Our Zoom friends miss your faces. If you are willing, they would love to see you while you're talking. If you wish to be seen on the monitors and by those attending on Zoom, please stand directly in front of the pulpit. Please keep comments brief and on topic. No announcements, please. I saw Ann first. Oh, well.
And Larry.
Pick one, and then Maria.
Yes. My name is Ann Simonson. I want to thank you for your sermon this morning. The Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King is one of my heroes. The sad, and Letter from a Birmingham Jail. But the sad thing about that is that I didn't even know about Letter from Birmingham Jail, even after watching Bull Connors with his hoses to people in 1963 until 25 years ago. I should have heard about it. I should have been taught that in history. So I really appreciate your bringing it up. Thank you. Particularly what he said about just laws.
Maria was next up here.
Hi, Christina. I really liked your sermon, and I agree with mostly everything that you said. But I wonder if using the term abolish is the best we can do in the day and age that everything that takes more than 10 seconds, people don't pay attention. And every time that we talk about abolish the police, abolish prisons, then we have to explain we are not talking abolish them right now. We are like talking about transforming. And I really appreciate that you said that, well, when it comes to this administration, we want to hold them accountable. So I wonder if the term abolish help us in any way, or we could find a better word in marketing terms.
In marketing terms.
Larry does have his hand up too, but I just wanted to say one of the things that I've heard that's been started being used in the last few years, I think, is the idea of transformative justice and replacement of restorative justice, because the criticism was that you can't restore justice if justice was never established in the first place. And so that might be sort of a direction that we could go in, is focusing more on the transformative justice element as opposed to saying what we're for, as opposed to saying the things that we're against.
Yeah. Larry?
Yeah, I would just like to say that I spend 7 months out of the year in a congregation that is 6 times the size of this one. And also when my partner and I are traveling, we make it a point of visiting the Unitarian Universalist congregation in whatever community we happen to be in. And I would like to say this is the most relevant and powerful sermon I have heard in a long time. Thank you.
That's wonderful.
Thank you, Larry.
Anyone else?
Yes.
I don't know her name.
Bruce.
Bruce, there's someone.
Yes.
I don't know her.
And then Diane.
Hello there. My name is Frances Toll. I'm a friend of Jolyn and Steve's. We thought he was speaking this week, so we'll be back next week.
Sorry.
But I loved your sermon. I have a daughter that lives in Minnesota, and they live an hour away from Minneapolis. And the area is really, everyone's afraid that, and they even have a Mexican restaurant that's closed down because of all of it. And they are quite sure that the Proud Boys are part of the ICE group now. It's very scary there. Even flying into Minneapolis is not a fun thing to do at this point. But thank you for bringing all that up, because it needs to be brought up.
Thank you.
And someday we will overcome.
Thank you.
Thank you. Diane, and then
I'm Diane Carlin, and I just want to say I've recently become more activated in my thinking, but this has always been there, is that we can talk about things, but we've got to take some action. How do you transform things? By hearing a good sermon. It has to transfer into our mind in terms of, what can I do? What can I do? And I know I'm not supposed to give an announcement, but if you want to in some way advocate for your beliefs to our state representatives and senators and governor, come to our little workshop. We're going to be right here at 10:30, and we're going to write some letters. And hopefully not just one letter, but we'll all get in the habit of writing letters, maybe every day, as long as we have the right to write letters. That's where my fear is. Thank you.
Thank you, Diane.
thank you, Diane.
Helene.
I used to call myself non-political. I know now we can laugh at it. I used to, I didn't give a heck to say a nice word. I didn't give a heck about politics. And just, within the last 10 years or whatever, suddenly I've become a political person and realizing I have to, as a human being, be a political person. And what I also wanted to, I don't think it's an announcement, but anyway, I think it's the UU is calling ministers to Minneapolis. They've made a call, just like Martin Luther King made a call for the clergy to go to Selma and march to Montgomery, that we've made a call to the ministers to get to Minneapolis and be there. I think it's Thursday and Friday or something like that. So, it's that serious. It really is.
Thank you, Helene.
And thank you.
Thank you. I think that's everyone. Okay. Our closing words today come from Wayne B. Arneson, who wrote, "Take courage, friends. The way is often hard, the path is never clear, and the stakes are very high. Take courage, for deep down there is another truth. You are not alone."
I hope you'll stay for the workshop, and please feel free, go ahead and get some food, drink, and that'll hold you, I hope, until you get some lunch if you need it after 11:30. If you do want to join people that are going out to lunch, there's a sign-up sheet on the table near the bookshelves. And the Zoom room will stay open for 20 minutes. Thank you all.